Welcome back, and today we're going to be disassembling and maintaining this Vosteed button lock raccoon. I've had plenty of people email me or DM me asking me if I could do a disassembly showing how to disassemble and put back together a button lock. And this one needs a good cleaning. One of my favorite Vosteeds, so I figured I would break it down for y'all. You need a Torx T8. That's all you really need, because this one right here is a T6, but you don't have to undo this screw. So you just have to unscrew the pivot and that one body screw right there, and you should be undone. So I might show some of this, but I don't want to have to show each little detail, make this a long drawn out video. But these are very easy to take apart because you have a captured pivot. I like to keep my screws separated so I know exactly where they went. I stand corrected. This is a T6 on this one right here. Once you get the body screws off, you want to be careful. You don't want that spring to go shooting anywhere. So I press the button, turn this, and then kind of work the scales side to side. And now they're undone. You have inset stainless steel liners there. Very well done. And there's not really much lube in there. And I'm gonna tell you, if you put lube in a button lock so you don't get button stick afterwards, you want to either use a dry lube or a very, very light lube spread across. So I open the blade, pull the plunger off. There's your spring. You can pull that spring out and put it aside till you finish cleaning it. Take your bearings out. I like to wipe everything down, put my own lube in, wipe the bearings off, and we'll come right back once I got all that cleaned up. Also, something you need to be aware of when you take the raccoon apart, be careful, because on the clip side, where the backspacer is right here, you have a little locator pin in front of that standoff. You don't want that to fall out, so just be careful if you're going to be moving this around. For a second, I thought I lost a pin back here. This, I don't know if this is an older model or not, and this is a newer one, but this particular one has T8 hardware on both sides. That's why I got confused. And this one has a stop pin for the closed position and a stop pin for the open position. This one has them both right here. So I was kind of confused for a second. After I wipe down everything with some Q-tips and some of these alcohol prep pads, I love these things. You can get a whole bunch of those for pretty darn cheap. I'm going to be using some Slick 'em All from my buddy OCD for EDC. I like this stuff because it's not going to spread out as much as some of the lighter lubes would. So I'm only going to put it inside this the bearing track on the blade, so I don't take the chance of getting any lube on my button lock. And I'm using these KPL swabs just to put the thin layer of lube all the way around. A little goes a long way. You don't need a whole lot. And I'm gonna do the same with that. I'll be right back. All right, now we're gonna put it back together. The clip side has the D-shaped pivot slot. You see the D shape right there, hopefully on the pivot, and you can see it right here. So we're gonna stab that through. Be careful, there's a stop pin there, and you don't want any of this stuff flying anywhere. Take your bearing, drop it in, and take your spring. Be careful, you want to do this over something that's not going to let this bounce if it falls out. And it doesn't matter, like you can see it's way over here on the side. It doesn't really matter because the plunger right here has a little cupped in on it, and you can move it around once you cup it. So this is how I do it. This is not the only way to do it, I know that, but I found success doing it this way. Be very careful. I recommend that you tape off this edge so you don't cut yourself. I'm not the most brilliant person in the world, so I didn't do it for time's sake. So as you can see, I'm going to take that cup in. I'm going to cup that spring. All right, now being very careful, I'm going to push the plunger all the way, like I'm depressing the plunger to disengage it. So as you can see, that plunger is all the way into the little slot right there. Take the blade in the open position Put the blade in. Okay, once the blade's in, you still got this button depressed. Turn the blade about halfway and you can let go of the plunger because it's captured underneath the blade now. So I'm holding the bottom of that pivot with my pinky and then the blade with this part of my hands. Like I said, you should definitely tape off that edge. I should have done it. Shame on me. Now I can drop my other bearing in here. And this one's fairly easy to put back together. So now I'm holding that blade down. I like to stab the back first into that, and we got that locator pin. So I'm gonna try to hook the back portion first. Basically get this over where it needs to be. Now it was that simple. It's just now snapped back into place. The Raccoon is super simple to maintain. So now you can open this blade up now that you have everything, because this plunger is not going to come flying out on you. Hold it in the middle of the scale so you don't have more tension on one side than the next. So I'm going to start my screw, being that I can turn it myself. I started it so I don't cross thread it by hand. And then I'm going to pop this one in there. I'm going to tighten these down. I'm not going to tighten it down all the way yet, because I want to make sure I don't need to make any adjustments. Sometimes I like to go all the way and then back a quarter turn, and take my T6. Okay, all the way tight, quarter turn. Now let's see, do I have blade play? A little bit of blade play. And now you just fine tune the action the way you want it. Okay, so still need some tightening. You can see it's off to the right. It's definitely not all the way tight yet. And this back screw's not tight either. Okay, now, so I figured this would be a prime example to show. You can see the blade is off to the right some, and I could probably make adjustments to this to fix that, but I have the pivot tightened down to where I want it. No play whatsoever, up or down, left to right. Nice tight lock up there. And I want to see if I can get it. And I can also see that my action's free like I want it to be. And now I just need the centering to be where it's at. So now I just need it to be centered. So what you can do, this is just a chopstick that I shaved off one end on both sides, just if I need a thicker spot. And I use a bamboo chopstick just because it's not going to scratch up my blade. So what you're going to do is also you're going to wedge the blade into the side that you want it to go to. You wedge it all the way to the opposite side that you want it to go. So we needed it to go this way, so I'm wedging the blade all the way there. And now I'm going to tighten up, let's see. Now I'm going to tighten up this back screw all the way. I'm going to check, make sure all my screws are tightened up. And most of the time this works like a charm. Let's see. And voila. Perfecto. No play. Beautiful, beautiful action. Look at that. Yeah. So there you go. That's how you disassemble and maintain your Vosteed Raccoon button lock, or pretty much any button lock. That trick, saved me a lot of hassle from losing springs. And if you're ever taking apart something that looks complex, just take pictures of it. If you don't think you can remember where something goes, make sure if you got more than one stop pin, make sure they're not different sizes, so you put them back in the right slots. Cold Steel does that on a few of their knives. They have 2 different stop pins that'll fit in the same slots, but they have a center section that's a different size thickness, and it'll mess up a lot of stuff. So if anybody's interested in one of the button lock Raccoons, I will have a link down in the description. This leather mat was done for me by Lancelot Leather. He does outstanding work. I also put the KPL swabs in there. They're nice little detailed swabs to, distribute lube, or if you can't take apart your knife, sometimes you can fit these swabs in between there to clean them out, or put grease or lube in them. Other than that, I guess I could put a link to the big box of 500 of these. These work great. And yeah, if you have any other knives that you would like to see me disassemble and show you how to do it, feel free to let me know down in the comments. If we have enough people wanting to see it, I will definitely try to get it done. And I will see y'all on the next one. Peace.